You know, the Buddha said, all things are impermanent, unsatisfactory, and not self. In fact, you could say the only thing that is permanent is that everything is impermanent. Unsatisfactory, dukkha, it's suffering. But you have to really understand what suffering or unsatisfactoriness is actually about. Yeah, so you can be suffering because you want something, and you can be suffering because you want something to go away. So he just simply called that desire as the cause for suffering. He also told the story of the two arrows. And the first arrow is the suffering in life that you just can't avoid. All the time you've got a body, emotion and mind, you're going to suffer, and there's nothing you can do about that. But there is also a second arrow, and that second arrow is the one you can avoid, and that is suffering about your suffering. Being angry about your anger, being sad about your sadness, and so on. So we can easily become a suffering, and it just gets worse and worse. Okay, so the first arrow is the suffering you can't avoid. That you've got to accept, and we'll talk about acceptance in just a minute. And the second one is the fact that the second arrow is the one that you can avoid, and that's you making it worse. And I think that's the one that tends to trouble us most. And the third one is not self. And people say, oh, you have to find yourself, you have to discover who you really are, and so on. But you are it. You are already it. And that's where you're looking from. You know, Alan Watts says you're an aperture through which the universe experiences itself. And I think that, again, in meditation, one of the hardest things is to understand the fact that you are it. Actually, what you've got to do is to let go of all the other crap and find out who you really are, because that's where you're looking from. So impermanence, unsatisfactoriness or suffering, and not self were the three characteristics of existence, and certainly worthy of a lot of study. Now, one of the things that we do find hard with suffering is acceptance. So, there's the old saying of you have to accept that which you can't change and then change that which you can. So there are certain things that are going to happen. We're going to get old, we're probably going to get ill, circumstances are going to change, people and things around us are going to pass because of impermanence. Things are going to happen, and you can't go backwards. So often you have to accept some circumstances, and that acceptance is really important. Accept things are never going to be the same again. Things are never going to go back to what they were. And you need to let the suffering of that come in. And as I said on the last chat, keep both doors open. Let it come in and let it go out. So that kind of acceptance, I think, is really important. And that's the thing that most of us will find really difficult. And the not self aspect as well is, there's another story of the man with a precious jewel in between his eyes traveling the world looking for precious jewels. That's the state of human existence. The jewel of what we are, where we're looking from, is one that we're always struggling to find ourselves, to become something and so on, and all of those cause suffering. You are it, you're already there, it's where you're looking from. All you've got to be able to do is to strip down and find it. So I hope that helps. Impermanence, everything is always changing, everything will turn to dust. Suffering, the two kinds of suffering, that which you can't change, which needs acceptance, and that which can be changed is something that you can be proactive and actually do something about. And not self, the discovery of what we really are, which is not a process of going out and finding out who we are. It's not becoming something, it's actually letting go until you discover what's actually sitting behind it all. Very quick story, just before I go, there was a Buddhist Ajahn in one of the lectures was saying that he would go to his kuti, his little hut that they sit and meditating on their own, and he would sit there for days and weeks, just let go, just kept repeating it like a mantra, let go, let go, let go, until he finally reached the point where he had to let go of letting go. Thank you. See you soon.